Good afternoon, and welcome to the Cincinnati, USA Regional Chambers Business Briefings. This series is an extension of our Chamber's leadership programs to help you and your business navigate COVID-19. I'm Amy Thompson, our Senior Director of Leadership Programs, and I thank you for joining us today. We invite you to share with us how we can help you and your business weather this storm. As you look at the slide, please reach out to our resources. We have a business resource helpline for information that can help you through this time. We also encourage you to sign up for our daily newsletters and emails at cincinnati-chamber.com. Today's business briefing is focused on health as we explore strategies for leaders and individuals to manage stress and reduce anxiety. I feel like we should all take one big deep breath right now. Anxiety and panic are truly plaguing our leaders and our workforce because of COVID-19. And it's critical we take time to arm ourselves with the tools to help ourselves, but also our team members. You've joined today in listening mode with your microphones muted. Questions for our expert can be submitted in the Q&A window. We'll cover as many of the questions as we can. If you've joined us by phone or need to sign off by 1 p.m., you can view the full webinar on our Facebook. I am thrilled to tell you that we have Dr. Shantel Thomas with us today. She can truly help us navigate this critical topic. Dr. Shantel Thomas is an amazing lady, and let me tell you a little bit about her. She's the president and CEO of a Sound Mind Counseling Service. This 20-clinician practice offers 3 locations: Cincinnati, Westchester, and Blue Edge. Dr. Thomas provides individual, couple, and group therapy to people of all cultural backgrounds and ages. In addition to private practice, she's presented both locally and nationally to numerous audiences, both corporate, academic, and in church settings. Dr. Thomas has been recognized for her leadership and work in a number of ways, including the People of Color Wellness Alliance GEM Award, the YWCA's Career Woman of Achievement, the Comprehensive Healthcare Leadership Award from Venue Magazine, and the list goes on. Dr. Thomas received her BA MED from the University of Toledo, where she attended on a full athletic scholarship and had a stellar career as a sprinter, traveling the world, competing and receiving various honors, including MAC Athlete of the Year and NCAA Woman of the Year for Ohio. Please note, if you look carefully behind her, you may see a picture referencing this. She was a member of the 4x400 meter relay in 1992 that broke the world indoor track record. Her doctorate's from Kent State University. She's a recent Leadership Cincinnati graduate and has become a great friend. Dr. Thomas, thank you for being here. If you could start by helping all of us understand the different causes of the anxiety amongst the COVID-19 pandemic, that would really help all of us here in the audience today.
Yeah, so what's happening is a lot of people are experiencing anxiety, stress, some isolation and loneliness because of this pandemic that's happening. And I've been receiving a lot of calls, the whole company has, because of it. And so what we're trying to do is get information out regarding ways to take care of yourself and to remain calm and focused during this time, because we're not used to staying at home. None of us are at home for 2, 3, or 4 weeks. And so that is starting to wear on people having to take care of their children who usually go to daycare or at home, or even for leaders, if you still have to go into the office and having to take temperatures or look at yourself as well as your employees and ask, are you okay? And if there's a cough, everyone's panicking. Like if someone sneezes or coughs, they're concerned that they have COVID-19.
Right. You're right. The nervousness and panic is stemming everywhere from being isolated to being on the front lines and what that looks like from end to end. Let's talk a little bit about the isolation, especially as we think about older adults or folks who are living by themselves. Do you have suggestions or tips that are coming to mind as you think about people that are in those such situations? How can they stay connected?
Yeah, so I have recommended to a few of my older clients to just do something simple like get outside and just, if they can sit out on their porch or their deck for a few minutes, read a book out there if they have an enclosed patio. Make sure that they call at least one or two friends a day because connection is very important. So your support system is very important. Connect with someone, whether it's a child, a grandchild, a friend. It could be a coworker or someone that they haven't talked to or a church member. So making sure that even though we're in the home, that we are talking to someone every day for at least 20 minutes. And if you can do that once in the morning and once in the afternoon, it helps a lot because you're still connecting. If they have Zoom or Skype, this is a great time to connect with someone who lives in another city that you haven't seen for a while or talk to. So picking up the phone, making sure you stay connected, making sure you talk with family members and friends, it's very important because that isolation goes away. And so it should be a part of your daily routine.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think we're all learning new technology and really trying to connect with each other in different ways. So it is the spectrum of you have people who are in isolation, and then you also do have people who are still in essential roles that are in the office day in and day out. And that certainly brings around a different level of stress and anxiety. And help us think through how can we recognize stress and anxiety as we are looking at our team members, whether we're looking at them virtually and having conversations, or if we are face to face, what are some signs and symptoms we can be looking for?
So usually a lot of people know about the anxiety that people may feel with the heart palpitations or sweating, but they don't know that sometimes clumsiness comes into play if people are dropping things or forgetting things, or the shakiness that comes there, the angst that's there, the upset stomach. So if people say, I'm feeling a little nauseous, or, I can't eat, or sometimes they even eat too much, so just being aware if there's a change, if a person is very talkative and now they're very quiet, or they're very quiet and they become very talkative, those are also signs of anxiety and stress. And also, when people get to the point where they're extremely tired all the time, that's another sign of anxiety and stress that some people forget. They think stress means you're always going and you're always racing and your mind is overthinking all the time. And that's true. What happens when you are stressed or you're anxious, you do get caught up in this repetitive loop in your mind. But there are those who they do just the opposite. They shut down and they're quiet and they internalize it. And so they're very fatigued. So also know that stress and anxiety doesn't always make you go like a motor. Sometimes it causes you to be very fatigued and tired, and it looks more like depression, but it's not.
That's a good reminder that it really is on that spectrum, that people can show up on really one end of the spectrum. And it's helpful to remind us if we see new behaviors, people working around the clock. I'd actually like to talk with you about that for a moment. This virtual world is different and new for many leaders, and they're finding themselves, I'm hearing people say, I'm now tied to my computer and I'm looking at someone from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed. I can't even get lunch in or go to the bathroom. What do you recommend for leaders who are trying to stay on top of their work and navigate and feel this intense pressure to keep up this incredible pace? But in reality, we're all going to burn out if we
Right.
stay that way.
Yes, we will. And so you, just like you had the routine at work, create that same routine at home. When did you take your breakfast break? Or when did you go talk to someone at the water cooler? Or when did you go outside for a few minutes? Continue to keep those in place, even though you're at home. So if you did break for lunch, you have to put that into your schedule. So creating a daily routine, if you get in at 6:30 in the morning and you're done by 3:30, then keep that routine. Also, making sure that those little 5-minute breaks or 7 minutes, the research says that those 7-minute breaks to take when you just can step away and maybe go to the bathroom and do a few breathing exercises, or, go into another room in your house away from the kids, or, whoever may live there with you. And sometimes I just lay on my bed and put my hands down to my side and just breathe, close my eyes and block out everything and just breathe. So that's very important as well.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. I think it's a good reminder for many of us who are tied to our calendars that we have meetings that just fill up. We need to make ourselves a meeting. We need to make ourselves a priority and appointment, even if we're literally scheduling in time to go to the bathroom, or
Right.
Time to get lunch. It seems really unusual, but at this pace, at this time, it's easy to forget if we don't put that in place.
Right. Yeah, it's very important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're right, because right now you are your top priority. And with everything, we're all stressed. We're all trying to manage it well. And so if you don't take at least 7 minutes in every day to focus on you and to relax, breathe, walk, meditate, go outside, then you're not, doing a good job of self-care. And so self-care is important. If we can work 40, 60 hours a week, then if you can give yourself 4 hours back in a week to take care of you, doing something, whether it's breaking it down to an hour or a half an hour, it's very important because you have to pour back into you and make sure that you de-stress on a daily basis.
That's great. You've mentioned this number a couple of times. So 7 minutes. Tell us why 7.
So the research says that anything under 7 doesn't help your body to relax and de-stress. So it has to be 7 minutes or more, because I think the first 2 or 3 minutes, you're just kind of getting to the place where you're saying, okay, let me focus on this, let me relax. But by the time you get to the 7 minute, you're actually focused, the sounds around you, what you have seen, things you're thinking about, your mind is clear at that point. So most meditations will say 5, 7 minutes, 13. 5 is okay, but 7 is where the research shows that the actual benefits come into play. And people do actually de-stress their mind and their body. And so the benefit is after 7 minutes. So make sure it's 7 minutes or more.
Wonderful. Thank you. Dr. Thomas, I think what most people are interested in tuning in today is to really hear and understand what are some tips, what are some techniques, how can I take care of myself, how can I take care of my team members? And I'd love to hear you talk through some options for us.
Yes, so the first one, and I would like us to actually participate in one, and actually let's start with this one. So breathing properly. So a lot of people think that they breathe well and they breathe properly, but in actuality, to have a great deep cleansing breath, you have to breathe in through your nose, hold it for 2 to 3 seconds, and then when you're breathing in, your chest fills up, and I'll demonstrate in a second. And then when you let it out, you blow out all the air, and your stomach and chest should go down. So it's not just from your stomach, it's actually your diaphragm, and your chest fills, stomach fills, and then when you let it out, you release everything. And I always tell my clients to pick a word. So everybody just pick a word. And again, we have to do 7 deep breaths in order to cleanse. So everything is 7. Just remember that when it comes to mental health and cleansing and clarity and relaxation, it's 7 or more, 7 minutes, 7 breaths. If you're stretching for 7 minutes or more. So let's try this together. If you could sit with your feet flat on the floor, if you can have your back up against your chair, and you want to just be present, have your hands, nothing should be crossed. No, your feet aren't crossed, your arms and legs shouldn't be crossed, but place your fingers open on each one of your legs. And so this is my only 3rd time doing this via Skype or Zoom. So I can't see you, but I'm hoping that you are relaxed. Only thing you should be sensing are your feet inside of your shoes, your legs and your buttocks on your chair, your back against the chair, and everything else should be relaxed. So let's take this deep breath in. If you all would close your eyes so you can try and relax as much as possible. And then I will tell you when to start. We're starting now. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your chest. Hold that for 3, 2, 1. Let it out with a nice deep cleansing breath. Let's do it again. Breathe in, hold, and let it out. And your mouth should be open when you're releasing. Again, breathe in, hold, breathe out. We have a few more to go. Breathe in, hold, let it out. Sorry about that. Again, breathe in, hold, release. 2 more. Breathe in, hold, release. And your last one, breathe in, hold, and release. So hopefully this helps you to identify if you feel stress anywhere. Like some people say, oh, I feel it in my shoulders or my back or my ankles or legs were tight. This is one way to begin to identify where you carry your stress. So when you're breathing, and sometimes people say my diaphragm or my stomach felt tight. So just as you're doing this exercise, begin to focus on where my stress is located in my body. If I sense it, if you're not used to doing deep breathing or cleansing breaths, it may take you a few times to practice this exercise. But that's one of the fast ones you can do. You can do that in your office at your desk. You can walk into the bathroom and go into a stall. You can do it at home. When my kids were little, I would go into the bathroom and shut the door to hide away or hide in my closet, and they would search for me. But after I did that simple relaxation technique, I felt much better. Another one that I will offer is something that I think all leaders need to do is to get a massage at least once a month. If you can't get it twice a month, schedule that massage at least once a month because it is one of the fastest way to de-stress your whole body. So it is detoxifying. You can add lavender in the air. You can add lavender to your lotion. When I go to my massage therapist, I have him add lavender to it. You can purchase it from them, but I just bring my own and say, mix it. And so, I've been going to him for over 3 years and he's really good at what he does. And so it does help. When you are a leader, you carry more stress than anyone else. You have your distress, but you also have your eustress. So the distress is the bad things that come that you have to manage, but your eustress are the good things that come when you hire someone who's doing a great job, but you still have to manage that person. That's a eustress. Or if you get a promotion, but they say, hey, now you have these 5 or 6 other things to do, it's a eustress. And so we have both going on. We're good at what we do, so they keep promoting us and they look for us to lead. But so that's one technique. The massage is something else. Bathing, if you can stay in the tub, at least once a week or a month, get in that tub, but you have to be in there for a good 25 to 30 minutes to get the cleansing benefits. So the commercial, Calgon, take me away. Remember that commercial?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a great commercial, but it was so true that you need to be in the tub. If you can use a Dead Sea salt or some type Epsom salt, something to help to take the toxins out of the body, again, you will have great benefits. And I know some leaders that say, oh, every Friday morning I am in the tub. I get up an extra half an hour early to get that benefit.
So Dr. Thomas, let me jump back in on the massage idea. I think every single one of us would love to run out and get a massage. However, we're supposed to keep 6 feet away from everybody right now. And candidly, not everyone's able to afford a massage. I believe there are some other techniques. I hear of people that will take tennis balls or a lacrosse ball and put it against the wall to work out the knots in their back. I know there's a variety of different things that are out there that you can use. Are there any suggestions you have in case we really shouldn't be getting a physical massage right now?
Yes, no, do not. I canceled my 2 over the past couple of weeks, and I felt really bad. But I'm like, I'm not getting a massage. So yes, they have those handheld rollers. I have a couple of those at home. They have a few batteries in there, and they do feel like a massage. I have given my children massages, and they play sports, and also if you have your spouse or loved one partner there who can give you a massage at this time, or you can, or even with your children. Doesn't have to, it could be through your clothing. That's one suggestion. But if you have any handheld, even the roller that you use for baking,
Sure.
yes, you can use that as well. So some people will use those, or even if you, I know people will take like a big spoon or fork and say, let me get this one spot here, a big wooden spoon or fork. So you can do that. And even just deep stretching is good. If you can take 10 to 15 minutes to just stretch different areas. That was another technique I was going to offer. Stretching is very important, especially if you are feeling tight. So a lot of people, when they are feeling anxious or stressed, they tighten up their body and raise their shoulders. So remembering to keep your shoulders lowered, and remembering to just talk out loud about, okay, let me relax. Let me make sure my shoulders are lowered. Let me make sure that nothing is tight, That's
So we have a couple of questions that are coming in that I'd love to throw your way. One of the questions is, as you're going through some of these techniques, do we have a handout that we might be able to share back with the leaders that are on this call that they would be able to share with their team members that give them some tips, some exercises, or some ways to reduce stress?
Yes, I do. I can share a handout. I will get that to you, Amy, to send out to everyone later on today.
Perfect, perfect. I'd also like to think about the fact that we have a number of leaders, whether they're in the HR space or they are a founder, an owner, a CEO, who are finding themselves in a situation where they have to conduct mass layoffs right now. And that's very stressful for a number of people. It's stressful for the leaders that have to conduct those layoffs, and it's very stressful for the people that are going through the layoffs. What are some resources that teams could share with the people who are going through those layoffs on how they can take care of themselves through that time?
Yeah, that's always very hard, and it's a number of different things that we often provide. I don't know if there's employee assistance programs for some of them that they can extend that through the end of the month. I found we have some people right now who are coming in that have recently been laid off, and they have extended their EAP services an extra amount of time so they can talk to a therapist about managing their emotions. Also, I think for the person, when you have to lay someone off, you have to say, this isn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong here. I'm just, this is my job and I have to do this. So don't carry guilt behind it, like it's a personal, it was a personal vendetta or something. So, and making sure that you understand that this is the company. You're just working in a role as an HR director, whatever role that may be. And hopefully and prayerfully that person will rebound and get another job. But I find that a lot of leaders own that. And because we think about they have a family or they have a home or they have a car, and what does this mean for them? And then just as a human being, we care about people, and we're not mean, nasty people, hopefully, as leaders. So we're very caring. And so a part of us does take ownership of that, but we have to release it in knowing, again, that it's not intentional. This is something that's taken place because of where the company is right now. And in that, I usually, when I've had to let go of employees, I double up my time, my journaling time. There are some great journals out there for leaders, and just getting a journal, and maybe just, even if it's a blank one, just writing in it. But there are some that really say, what were your thoughts about it? How did you feel about it? What did you want to happen? And how did you respond? So I listed some on the resources, but I also think that making sure that, again, you don't own it and say it's your fault, you did something wrong there.
Great. Our wonderful colleague Michelle has just posted resources here for us. Would you mind walking us through a couple of the resources? And we had another question come in that I want to send your way as you're going through these resources to see if there's a connection. And we can certainly circle back on this question. It's really around, there are so many kids at home that have their parents that are also working at home. How do you balance the kids' mental health while also balancing your own? So perhaps as you go through these resources, if you think any of these would be good for the whole family or for kiddos in particular, if you wouldn't mind mentioning that, that'd be great.
Okay. So I put some apps on here. So this would probably be the best place for the parents and the kids. Breathe to Relax. All of these are apps that you can download at the App Store. Some are free and some you pay for after you have a couple of free sessions. But Breathe to Relax, it really helps with anxiety and stress. And all of these really will help with anxiety, stress, the isolation, and some depression. Calm is another app. It's been advertised on television here recently. And so all of these apps, really what they do is they give you that, you have options to pick, whether you pick 7 minutes, again, 5, and then they go up from there. And the higher ones, usually there's a fee. With some of them allow you to program in. My favorite one is at the very bottom. I'll continue to go down the list. The Headspace, that one, there's a free one right now. And then after, I think they're making it free because of COVID-19. But after that, you have to pay for Headspace. Most of my men that I see love this one. So this is the male one to go to. All of the men say, out of all the one you gave me, this is my favorite. So Headspace is mainly
Is that because they can pick if they want the male voice or the female voice?
And that might be the case. So there's the Headspace. The Ptsd Coach is really for someone who has experiencing some severe stressed and has PTSD. But when you download that app, it asks you every day, like, check in with your anxiety or your stress level or your anger. And there's a thermometer, and you just move that thermometer up or down. And then it creates the program based on how you're feeling that day. Then you can also check in and share that with your therapist. So I use that one with a lot of my clients that have PTSD, and even those that have anxiety or feeling stressed. So it's not just for PTSD, because a lot of those exercises can go across the board with a lot of different emotional things. Relaxed Melodies is just that. There are a bunch of different melodies that you can program. You can program it for 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And so there's different sounds. You just pick whichever sound you want. And if you just want to have some meditation time where you're focusing on your breathing, I use this one often at presentations. I use it often in my office, just in the waiting area. People will hear this music as they're coming in. And as well with clients that come in and say, I'm stressed and I just need a few minutes. We may start out with the first 7 minutes of them just laying on the couch and listening to the music and focusing on breathing. The last one is my very, very favorite. I use this one sometimes myself. Stop, breathe, think, because it makes you just stop, right? Just stop what you're thinking about doing and how you're going to do it. And then breathe, focus on the breathing, and then think about your next steps, which is that whole, don't get into the repetitive cycle, because we're watching this at 2 o'clock. I've told myself, not every day, but at least twice a week. So because you can re-traumatize yourself or just traumatize yourself by watching this every day, all day long. So we have to take a break. So stop, think about what you're doing, breathe, and then, continue to go from there. So any of those will work with children and parents. I would say probably Breathe to Relax, the Relaxed Melodies, and Stop, Breathe, Think would be the 3 that I would recommend if you have smaller children. Teenagers can do any of the higher ones, the Calm Headspace PTSD Coach. They are very good, and I've used them with my teenage son who's an athlete to help him. The journals, so sometimes these Aaron's journals are very popular, and you can find them on Amazon or different places, and sometimes they're on back order or they're out. But I recommend these a lot. The wellness log, and then there's the focused wellness log. So it tells you, like, what are you thinking about? What did you do today? Did you exercise? Did you talk to a friend? Did you eat properly? So you can check those off, as well as you can also, just use these journals. Just real quickly, there's small ones you can put in your purse or your bag, and then there's larger ones with stickers and things. Same thing, Planet for Life and Apples. So these all help when you're stressed and you're experiencing some anxiety. So those are my favorite. And then down there in the corner is where you can contact me and my group if you feel like, yes, I need to speak with someone, and we're doing everything Skype, Zoom as well.
Great, great. And I highly recommend that. I do want to come back again to, let's think about the kiddos. And so I actually want to have a little bit of fun with you all today. I realized that this is a Cincinnati holiday. And if it was a different lifetime and a different world out there, we would all look very different today and would be celebrating the Reds as hometown. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up for our audience is, how are you having fun with your kids? How are you creating an ambiance at home? Is it wearing your Reds gear and getting outside to play ball and be a part of this virtual opening day? Dr. Thomas, I know you have a routine with your kiddos and with your family at home. What are you doing?
So with my son, he has a certain time that he has to get up. And so we have been exercising. So because he does play basketball and run track there, he gets up, does homework, breakfast first, of course, and then a set time for homework during the day. And then there's time to go outside and play some basketball or walk around the neighborhood or run around the neighborhood. And then after that, come back in, there's lunch. And then there's some more homework if there needs to be homework done. If not, we have set up a routine where every night at 8 o'clock, we watch a family movie. So we're watching a series called All American, which is about this football player. And it's actually pretty good. He picked it. I'd never heard of it. He said, Mom, it's great. Let's watch it. So at 8 o'clock, we stop what we're doing to have our family time. And between 4 and 6, it's his time to hang out with his friends on his, social media. So I think if everybody creates a routine, that will help. And then there's that 4 to 6 time is where I'm doing my thing, he's doing his thing, but we make sure we come back together and we have dinner. And then we also make sure that we are, spending some family time. And I think that's important for all of us to do.
Absolutely. And I would recommend that routine across the board. It's so helpful for leaders. It's helpful also if you are living alone to create that routine and to create intentional shutdown time. It would be very easy to just keep working late into the night every night. And I know I'm also saying this for myself. I need to do this. I need to create time where we step away. It's critical for all of us. We did have a couple of comments that are coming in right now, and I wanted to just remind people that at this point, we would welcome your specific questions for Dr. Thomas. One thing that has come across is someone is mentioning another app that is out there, and it's called Sanvello, is also currently free for the premium version. So that's a nice opportunity and option for people as well. Another question came in, Dr. Thomas sharing this is great information, really wondering if your services are available through employers within Cincinnati. I know a lot of what you do is you and your team respond after a crisis. And candidly, this is a crisis. So can you tell us a little bit about how you work with businesses?
Yes, so we have contracts with different businesses here in Cincinnati. And if they have an employee assistance program, most of them will have their employees utilize that the first anywhere from 3 to 10 sessions, whether it's ComPsych, Magellan, R3 Continuum. Those are some of the EAPs that are out there, Optum. And so we recommend that you contact your employer on the back of your insurance card. They have a behavioral health number. And when you contact that number, they'll let you know how many sessions the company covers, and then they will give us an authorization number, and then that way we can start the sessions with you. And all of my staff are answering the phones from home and scheduling appointments from home. So we are here. And so Cincinnati, we do have I know we have contracts with Children's Hospital, the city of Cincinnati. We see people there. We see people with Tri-Health. So a lot of the Cincinnati employees we do see as well.
I want to shift gears with you a little bit because for so long there's been stigma around talking about mental health and admitting that any of us are stressed or feeling anxious or overwhelmed or depressed. And it is a reality right now that people are going to feel stressed, anxious, depressed, a variety of different things. How do we handle this amongst our team? How do we make it okay to talk about our mental health, that it's not a taboo topic?
Right. I think we're starting to do much better with that. I think having forums like this is important. I think even having a check-in, maybe if you could do it via Zoom. My girlfriends and I, we were like, hey, let's have a happy hour. Hey, let's just get together and catch up and see how we're doing. How are you doing being at home? Just asking that question, whether it's a small in Hangouts or Zoom or whatever it may be. But then I think we have to remember that some people are they're not open to it. They're afraid to talk about it. But then the more that someone who's a leader expresses their experience with mental health, their own mental health, or a family member, friend that has it, the more I found that the others that work with them are able to open up. So if the CEO or CFO or whoever it is says, hey, this is my experience with it, or I've been stressed and this is what I've done, then everybody else is more open to talking about their own mental health. And so I think it starts at the head and comes down. And if the head is willing to be transparent, I think others will be, and then we'll have a better company, community, and world. So
you're bringing up some great points. When we think about what does leadership look like today, leadership is being vulnerable. And oftentimes leaders think, oh, I have to be buttoned up. I have to be perfect. I need to put on this mask. But in reality, vulnerable, real, authentic leaders are the ones who are making a difference.
right.
I want to bring up a company locally that is really doing some great work around this, and it is Tier 1. They have partnered with Lindner Center of Hope and started a program called Start the Conversation, and are really making it a place within their business and in their work to say, let's talk about it. It's okay. When they did a survey and looked at the number of people, either themselves or in their immediate families, that were struggling with different mental health issues, the number was high, and they knew this was a need. So appreciate you talking through this.
Yeah.
We had another question come in, and it says, Dr. Thomas, does your practice have a website to get more information on your services? And what is the phone number to schedule a session? Why don't I ask our friend to put that back up there? Thank you, Michelle. Let's see, it may be the next slide, but why don't we keep that up for a little bit? Oh, no, it's on the bottom of that slide. Sorry about that. Yeah. Information is on the bottom of this slide, so we'll keep that up for a little bit as we continue the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, that and again, I would love for, if you are feeling anxious or dealing with isolation, again, we can give you some more techniques to utilize. But yes, the phone number, it's again, is 513-948-0023, and it's soundmindcounseling.com, as it's showing here for the website. We do offer a bunch of different types of sessions, whether it's families, couples, individuals, to help with the stress that we're experiencing right now. And so we're doing those via Skype. We have couples on the Skype or the Zoom, families that are there. When you have your kiddos, I've been telling my clients who have, 2 or 3 kids, and they're like, man, they've been home for so long and I don't know what to do here, to make sure that you schedule alone time. Like, just like if they're at school and they had breakfast and then they had sleep time or whatever it may be, if they're 2 or 3 and they were on the cot, then put them down on the cot. And when they're sleeping, if they're sleeping for an hour, maybe you take a 10-minute break and you take a quick cat nap for 15 minutes so that your energy level is up as well. Because when they're home with you and you do have multiple children and you're not used to being here for 2 or 3 weeks, then yes, your stress level is up. And the research says that a mother's stress level, she carries 50% more stress than the dad, because the kids tug and pull on her and ask for mommy, mommy, mommy more than they do for daddy, daddy, daddy. So creating some small breaks in there, 10, 15 minutes where you can get away, is important.
Absolutely. And I also think it comes to being creative. What are people doing as families to be creative and have some fun? I have created a routine where every morning and every night I go for a walk. And during that time, I see these wonderful chalk drawings that are popping up. I've also started to see decorations on the doors and in houses. And I understand that a number of neighborhoods are doing a thing called going on a bear hunt. And they're literally taking a teddy bear, and each day they will put that teddy bear in one of the different windows or a part of the house, so that as people walk by, they find it. So it's almost like a little mini scavenger hunt for kids and families as they walk through the neighborhood. So I think at this time, you just have to be creative and have a little bit of fun as well.
I think very true and very important that, we have to come out of what our usual routine. I went outside and was like, well, I'm just going to rake leaves. I can spend an hour cleaning my yard, and looking to see what I can find. Like, how many birds do I see today? How many different types of birds? And that was pretty fun for me, just to be sitting outside and watching, whether it's red or blue or, whatever, brown. So I think that thinking of new ways to have fun and to get outside, you can't go too far or do much. Even, if you go to a park, keep the social distancing. But if it is, okay, today I'll ride my bike, or I'll just walk down the street, or maybe count the number of, X's you see on the back of a license plate as cars are driving by, or you're walking down the street. It could be anything, but it's like, what can I do to make this a fun day? But I think it's very important to get outside and just go outside and breathe in some fresh air. If it's for 5 minutes and you don't leave your actual home, but just sitting outside. Today is a very pretty day. If you have a treadmill that's inside, open the windows, the doors, and just enjoy the fresh air and just sit out there and maybe meditate, pray, use one of those apps that you just got,
Absolutely. As we come to a close here today, Dr. Thomas, I'd love for you to just leave us with a couple of your key tips. What would, as we kind of sign off here, what would you leave us with that we should ultimately really be thinking about for ourselves and our team members?
So the first thing I would say is that because leaders do carry more stress, and because this is a high stress time, and the isolation is real for a lot of people, again, making sure, the research says for women, we need to have 3 close girlfriends that we talk to, and men need 1. And so if you could reach out to those people every day, then that's to be healthy. Your 3 female friends for women, and that, my apologies, 1 for men is highly important to have, and to, again, stay connected. So talking to them or seeing them if you can face to face through Zoom. The other one is do some type of an exercise in your home. Make sure you're stretching, or you're taking time to do push-ups or sit-ups or run in place, whatever it may be, but some type of exercise, as well as making sure you get outside. It doesn't have to be that you leave and go anywhere, but go outside and smell the fresh air. Look outside today while it's not raining, because it's supposed to rain later. And even if it's just walking around the block, just make sure you get outside. And I think that bear scavenger hunt is a great idea.
Isn't it cute? I
Opportunities.
think it's really cute.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for joining us. These tips are incredibly helpful. And I do want to circle back to our one attendance member who had been asking about if we could post some additional information. So yes, we will follow up and send a note out to all of our attendees today with some links that you could use and some handouts that they could share with their team members as well. In closing today, just want to say thank you again to Dr. Shantel Thomas of A Sound Mind Counseling Service. Thank you for taking time with us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you to our audience. Thank you for tuning in and taking a moment to think about yourselves and think about your team members as well. We wanted to let you know we'll continue with this webinar series, our business briefings, and we are also offering roundtables where you have an opportunity to connect with peers who are dealing with the same types of situations. Next up is Tuesday, March 31st at noon, where you can hear from Brixie and Meyer, Jonathan Trunk, on our business continuity plans, principles and practices for sustainability. We know this is critically important right now, how our businesses planning for the future. Future may be 3 months, it may be 6 months, and longer term. Our entire team at the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber is dedicated to keeping our business community united through this crisis and strong as we recover. Please let us know how we can be of service to you. Meanwhile, stay safe, respect social distancing, even with those you love. And as you sign off today, take the time to wash your hands. I'm serious. Again, thank you.